Hey everybody, Zach here from Reptile Creation, and today I want to share with you guys some of the questions I get asked about my terrarium projects on a regular basis. So, firstly, people wonder about the materials, and then secondly, the tools that I use. So, there's not a heck of a lot of tools, but I'll go over the materials real quick and tell you where I get some of these things. So the first thing I need to do in my project is get the foam boards that I use to carve the project out from. And that stuff looks a lot like this. I've seen it blue. It's not always 2 inches thick like this one. It's sometimes just 1 inch thick. There's a few different sizes you can get. But I like the 2-inch boards because I can get a nice thick layer when I cut into them and have a nice texture for the rocks when I do start to, you know, make the whole project look like the rocky terrain that I want to see at the end of the project. So next up, I go to my knife, and this one's pretty important, and you got to be really careful with your knife. I have an X-Acto knife. It's just a retractable blade. I like them because if the blades break, they're really easy to replace. I get a pack of them just like this, and they're, you know, I get 10 or 12 at a time. The first thing that you got to do with the knife is decide how big of a piece you're going to want to cut. So I'm just going to basically try and cut this thing in half and show you guys how I do it, because it's something you want to be careful doing, because you don't want to just go through the whole board at once and think you're going to not break the blade, because these are fragile. So you want to score it. So you always want to cut away from yourself. You don't want to be cutting towards yourself, because you might, you know, the blade could do anything, and it's always dangerous doing this type of thing. But once you've got a nice big score mark down one side of the board, you can come from the other side, and they break in nice, clean, straight edges. So you cut whatever shape you want, and you should be able to break them in that type of way. So that's how I do the basic cutting, and then the carving, I'll have a nice detailed tutorial coming in the near future for the carving process. So the question that I get asked the most about this stuff is, where do I get it? And I've always bought it at any kind of building supply store, places like Home Hardware, Home Depot. I don't know what kind of store you have where you live, and I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of my viewers are not in Canada where I am, and they have different shops to go to, as well as people in Australia and stuff like that. So this stuff I've gotten, like I said, at building supply stores. It's usually in their warehouse. You're not going to get it right off the shelf inside the store usually, but you never know. You might see it right on the shelf. It's depends on where you are. So same with the Grout, same type of place. That's where I get it. And pretty much the same thing for the Varathane that I'll link you to as well. But after carving, you want to cover up the foam with some Grout. And a lot of people have asked what brand. I'm not really going to say that one brand is better than another, but I have sanded Grout here, and that means it kind of has a sandy texture on it. I think the unsanded Grout might be better. I'm going to try that in the future, but I have had great results with sanded Grout. And you just look for the color that you like. This one's a kind of sandy color. I haven't used this box yet because I don't really know which project to use it for, but you can use acrylic paints to tint this stuff as well. So you can get a non-toxic acrylic-based paint and just mix it into your Grout before you do your project. And the Grout, I just take a 2-inch wide paintbrush, just a regular paintbrush for doing the walls in your house, and I paint that on as if it was paint, because I do mix it to a very watery consistency, which will be in my next tutorial as well. I'll definitely have links in the description once those tutorials come. But other than that, I'm going to put some links for the last piece that I use, the sealant. And the sealant's super important. I have a Varathane. This is by Rustoleum. It's a polyurethane kind of water-based sealant, and I painted on, like I said, just like the Grout, with a 2-inch brush. You can use a 1-inch brush for some of the smaller parts, but it's not necessarily important. This one I will link you to because it has low VOCs and it is non-toxic. I want to make sure that everybody knows that. Lots of people have used this stuff to seal the inside of terrariums and stuff, wooden terrariums that they've built. So I've found that it works really well. And it's one of the only things that I've found in forums that other people have agreed is safe. So one of the few safe pieces, this one's the most important thing, so I'll have a link right here for that and one in the description so you can go and check it out yourself and even order it. So those are the basic questions I get asked all the time. One other thing I do get asked very often that I haven't done yet is how do you do a basking spot? And I haven't built anything for a lizard that needs a hot basking spot yet, but my plan was to just use tile. So you got ceramic tile. If you could get nice big flat rocks, that could work as well, but ceramic tile is really easy to clean. So I really like that option, and I would just inlay it into the top where the structure is to hold up a tile underneath your basking spot. I'm definitely going to be doing something in the future like it, but I just wanted to share that idea because I do get asked all the time. So now I have this nice resource. So if you guys still have any questions that I haven't really covered in this video, feel free to shoot in the comments. I'll definitely be making more videos like this one and some more tutorials on how to actually build the landscapes that I have created in the past. And I'm going to be doing some awesome projects. If you haven't checked out my last video, I put a little sneak peek of the next project I'm going to be doing. It's definitely going to have a really cool kind of ancient ruins kind of theme to it. So I'm excited to get working on that project for you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.